Hey, so I'm getting here with a video that will be talking about the pickling because it's an important process of jewelry making, and I've just finished a ring, so I thought that this was the perfect opportunity to show you how this works and what are the basics that you must know in order to do a good job and to know how to clean metal, because in essence that's what pickling is about. It's about cleaning metal when you're doing soldering, and especially when right now, as you see, I'm done with the ring. There's a lot of borax and a couple of residues and things that have marked, well, not really marked, but that are staying attached to the metal. And the way we clean metal is by using I know that in America and even in the UK it's easier to find what we call a pickle pot, but in France we have to find alternatives because we don't have access to pickling. So the first thing, I'm into a pickle pots like the traditional ones. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is that when you put things in the pickling solution, you have to use tools that are non-ferrous. That means that you have to use tools, and like the plier I'm holding, that are made out of brass or copper, non-ferrous metal, because if you put ferrous metal in the pickling solution, it will do the opposite. Instead of cleaning the metal, the ferrous metal in combination with the citric acid, that is what we put in this, will make all the stains and mark stay. So this is exactly what we do not want. So you have to really keep that in mind, whether you use, like me, a Pyrex bowl that can stand the heat, and a plate like hot, like, I don't even know how you say that in English, but you know what it is, a hot plate. Or you can use that, or you can go straight away for the usual typical pickling pot that you can find online on Rio Grande and other jewelry suppliers. I went for this because it was the easiest. The reason why I took a massive one is because sometimes I work with big bracelets that I need to pickle, and it's easier for me to have a good a big container, a big glass container, but you could go for something way smaller if you don't need that much. The other thing that you can notice is that, so the pickling, how does that work? So it works with water that has to be warm, not to a boiling point, but it has to be warm, and it has to remain warm if you want the citric acid to work with it. So what I use is citric acid. You can find that pretty much anywhere now, because it's also a supply you can use for cleaning purposes. So you can find it in a hardware store, or in a cleaning, like in the cleaning side of like the cleaning aisle of your shop or something, or online. Once again, you can find citric acid for jewelry purposes too online. What you have to keep in mind is that it's written the amount you have to put, but for I usually roughly put 2 liters of water in there, and for 2 liters of clear water, you can use tap water, or you can use filtered water, demineralized water, I think that's called, but you don't have to. The water from the tap is good. And for 2 liters, I usually roughly put 2 full tablespoons of citric acid, and I mix them too. And you don't really have to change the water. It gets bluish, as you can see, and it doesn't mean that you have to change it. It just, as long as it works, keep using what you have. And then I just add up water, because with evaporation, condensation, you just fill in with new water. When you feel that it's not working well anymore, just add a little bit of citric acid in it, and then you're good to go, and you should not have to clean anything often. So the other thing that I have to mention is, when you want to change the water from the pickling pot, it is super important, and as well as the other container I'm showing you, which is filled with tap water, again, plain water. When you need to switch and take out the jewelry because it's cleaned, you have to put it in this other container, and the container has water plus bicarbonate. And bicarbonate is great for many things, and especially in jewelry making, because it will completely stop the effects of the citric acid. So not only is it important for your health to have this on board, but when you want to change the water from your pickling pot, if you need to, put at least 2 tablespoons of bicarbonate before throwing the water in the toilet, or outside, wherever you want to throw it, because it will completely dissolve the kind of citric acid negative effects for the health. Don't put the bicarbonate if the water is still hot, though. It has to be cooled down. And you don't have to do this, but I would really advise you to have two containers, sorry, so that you can make them, like, make the switch, and when the jewelry is clean, boom, you just put it, like I'm about to show you, into the other thing, so that you can hold it in your hands, and it will not damage your skin or your health. As you can see, I can also clean up some nasty stuff in it that I think it's cat's hair that have happened to come in there somehow. Yep, I have a cat with long hair. So here, as I've been talking, you can see it can be really, it's actually quite fast. It goes actually pretty fast. If the water is already warm, it goes super fast. So I wanted to show you the results so that you can really see the color. So it looks like there's a white quote on it, but don't worry, this will not stay. But this is the color it has when it comes out of the pickling. And as you can see, all the residues, everything is gone. So this is the way to go with this, or at least the way I do it. And it's, yeah, you can see it's something that is easy to use, and really you can find quite cheap like supply stores where you can get all this. And remember that during the soldering, when you do, like, you're working on big projects, so often you need to stop and to pickle, and then go back to the work, and then work on it, and keep doing. If you have many solders to do on one piece, sometimes you cannot do everything at once, so you have to use the pickling quite often, and it's better to overuse it than underuse it, because working with clean metal is a must if you want to do good soldering. So I hope this was out of service, and I'll see you around for another video.